Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A and the questions come from you guys.
Yeah, a couple of days ago we asked on Instagram if you had any questions because we plan on doing an upcoming Q&A. We answered half of those on Instagram and then we're answering the rest of those today. Okay, so why don't we just jump right in. We are going to be reading these from PJ's phone. We don't normally like to read the questions beforehand, so all of these answers are going to be on the spot. We'll see how that goes. The first question, this is kind of a fun question, whatever. How much do you get recognized out and about in your town?
I'd say not very often. Like it's a small town, so we know a lot of the people here anyways. So I would say not too often.
I did get recognized at Walmart the other day by a cashier. And then it's like doctor's offices, but other than that, yeah, not very much. Next question. How long did it take for the kiddos to call you dad? Probably about a year.
I'd say a little over a year.
A little over a year, that's right.
We just let them call us whatever came naturally to them. And the oldest eventually got old enough that we started having conversations about foster care and what that meant and kind of that it was a process. They eventually got to the place where I feel like they needed that security of having us be more than just PJ and Thomas, and the oldest started playing around with calling us dad and was kind of like testing out to see how we would respond to it. And the more comfortable he got with saying it, the more that it happened, and then the younger two kind of followed the same.
Yes. Okay, this is a question that we get quite often, and this one is, how did you decide on last names when you got married? I took PJ's last name for a couple reasons. One, I was not really tied to my last name. I didn't particularly love it, and PJ already has 4 names. He has a really long name, and so it didn't make sense to add my name on top of his and give him 5 names. And then lastly, we knew that we wanted kids one day and we wanted all of us to have the same last name. So that's how it worked for us. I hear people have tons of different stories and reasons why they choose their last names, but that is what worked for us. Okay. PJ, how did you know you wanted to be a dad?
I have always, like when I was younger, I always wanted a younger sibling. Like when I was before a teenager, so probably like 8 to 12, I really wanted a younger sibling. And that carried over in my teenage years to like looking forward to being a dad. And then my early 20s, my mom had my younger sister. And then I was like, I don't know if I want kids. And then we met, and at that point I was 24 and was coming back around to the idea of wanting kids. And then throughout my mid and late 20s, I was like, I think I want kids. It's just for a gay couple, it's not as easy to have kids. And so it was always like, I want kids, but it's just gonna be so hard to figure out how we're gonna go about doing it. Are we gonna do surrogacy? Are we gonna do adoption through a private agency? Are we going to foster? And after researching all of those options for 2 years, we decided to go with foster care. And I can't say that at the time that we did it, that either of us were certain that we for sure wanted kids. Maybe you more than I, but I always said I wanted kids before I was 30, and we didn't start fostering until I was 33. And so in my mind, I was like, if I don't have kids by the time I'm 30, I don't know if I want to do kids. And now that we have kids, it's hard to imagine a life without them. So it was definitely one of those things where I did go back and forth with whether or not I wanted to do kids, but I'm really glad that we did. One of the other questions said, since we're talking about kids, it said, how goes the adoption process? We have an update on the adoption and foster journey, and that'll be coming very soon, probably this month. And we're really excited to share that update and let y'all know what's going on.
Moving on. Next question. Do you plan on changing the kids' names or spelling of them after adoption or keeping them the same? So yes, we definitely plan on changing their names in a sense.
At least part of their names.
Right. And then like the spelling of them
We may.
potentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's TBD on that. We'll see. Real quick, this is, well, I don't think we've ever actually answered this one before. Maybe we have. This one says, are the kiddos all biological siblings? The answer is yes. Yeah, people, I think, are always surprised whenever we say that they're all biological siblings for some reason, but they are.
Yeah, 2 of them look more alike than one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we do get that question a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we randomly have gotten this question quite a few times. Basically, they're asking if we have watched the show called The Other Two on HBO, which we had never heard of. I think I've heard of it, but we'd never watched it before.
Wait, what is that the one?
Yeah.
Oh, so we are getting that question?
Yeah. But it's a show on HBO with Molly Shannon, and it looks really funny. We've never seen it before until someone brought it to our attention last week. And the reason that they brought it to our attention was because there's this one episode where this gay couple renovates houses, and they have an Instagram account called the Property Daddies.
Basically, every aspect of what they're talking about in that episode is making fun of aspects of our life, down to they have a frame wall, and whoever put the show together literally went to our Instagram and took poses that we have done over the years and recreated those exact poses on a frame wall.
The attention to detail was amazing.
They even had like a pilot, the characters had like a pilot episode on HGTV.
They had property of sweatshirts. As I don't know if you guys know, we did a line of those, property of Y'all University, where we sold sweatshirts online. And they had like a chalkboard wall in their kitchen, and they lived in like a cute little bungalow, and it was bewildering to watch. It was like every next scene we were like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like even down to like the rug in the living room was the same as our rug. It was just wild. So if you haven't seen that, I think it's episode 4 on the show called The Other Guys. The Other Two.
If you want a good laugh.
Yeah. Don't laugh too hard.
Yeah, they are definitely making fun of us, but
yeah,
whatever.
All right, so on that note, why don't we take a quick break to hear from the sponsor of today's video. All right, guys, we are going to get back to the Q&A in just a moment, but I wanted to take this time to thank the sponsor of today's video because it's a really, really fun one. Today's video is sponsored by our friends over at Skillshare. So Skillshare is an online learning community filled with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. You can explore new skills, develop existing interests, and get lost in creativity. Okay, so how it works, for example, we chose Productivity for Creatives, Build a System that Brings Out Your Best. It is taught by Thomas Frank, who's a YouTuber, author, and entrepreneur. He just walks you through how to make the most of your time and get the most out of your work. He talks about what a professional mindset is. He talks about setting up your physical and digital workspaces, efficiency and effectiveness, collaboration and delegation, and so much more. I just found it so informative because that is something that I personally wanted to work on. Just how to be more efficient and be more effective with my time during the day. As you know, we do work from home, so something like this really came in handy for us personally. They have a really fun offer for you too. So the first 1,000 people to use the link in our description will receive a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. And then after that, it's only around $10 a month. So once again, we want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. You can check out the link in our description to learn more. All right, so why don't we get back to the rest of the Q&A? We are back at it. Let's see. PJ, how are you filling the pond with water?
So when deciding on the location of the pond, I had 3 different options, and after talking with the pond guy, he was basically kind of walking me through water runoff and watershed, and like he knows what he's doing basically. And from those 3 options that I gave him, he chose the one, or recommended the one that would get like all the rainfall. So it's the lowest spot on our property. It's where all the rainwater flows to, and luckily because we have kind of hilly land, the water goes to that one spot. And it rained for 2 days like a week ago, and it filled up the pond, and it wasn't ready to be filled up, and they had to pump all the water out. So I know it's gonna at least hold water, but we're just planning on using rainwater to fill it up.
No way.
Yeah, we'll do a little clip in here of what it looks like.
Yeah.
So that you can see.
What about this one? Next question. If the kids wanted to do vlogging when they're older, would you let them?
The oldest has already been asking and playing around with the idea of doing it. I don't know. I feel like if it's something that they were definitely passionate about and wanted to do, I would let them. I would help them. Let them help them do it.
Yeah, because it's I mean, it's a form of creativity.
Yeah.
And we obviously would never push it on them, but our oldest, like PJ mentioned, will, and then you guys have seen in some of our YouTube videos, I'll start recording and he will be like, on today's video, blah, like basically mocking me, but he's actually really good at it. So
he has some idols that he also watches on YouTube Kids. What is that one?
Ryan.
Well, that was the old one, the dinosaur one.
Oh, Park Ranger LB.
Yeah, Park Ranger LB.
Yeah.
So he definitely has an interest in it. I don't know if he'll actually follow through and do it, but
so cute.
Yeah, it's cute.
Next question. This one is a foster care question. They asked, once the adoption is finalized, do you guys plan on fostering again, or are you closing your doors? That's something that we've been talking about a lot lately as we get closer to the adoption date, and I think we've come to the decision that we will foster again.
Currently, we are with a private agency. We have decided that we're going to close our home for a little bit, and then when we do reopen our home, we're just going to go to the local Department of Children's Services and foster directly through the state. We're both on the same page as far as when the adoption is final, we're going to close our home, and then we are going to probably keep it closed for a little bit and then reopen our home maybe 6 months out.
Okay, last question for today's video. What has been the most difficult part of parenting, and what has been the most joyful?
So this will not relate to anyone who has not fostered, but for me, the most difficult part of parenting was going from 0 kids to 3, but then after we had the kids, it was teaching them. Your mom is calling.
No, your mom. This is your phone.
Oh, my mom's calling. Call you right back, Mom. First was going from 0 to 3, and then secondly, it was teaching the kids everything, like structure. They were delayed, catching them up to where they needed to be, correcting behavioral issues that were not addressed as they were growing and becoming young toddler kids. And yeah, so.
But what's the most joyful?
Most joyful is, one thing that we do a lot is that we will watch videos on our phone from when we first got the kids, see how our parenting styles have changed and how much we have grown since then, but also seeing how much the kids have grown. Everyone who has known the kids talks about how they're just completely different kids, and how everyone says, oh my God, your kids are so great, but they are seriously such good kids.
They really are.
And We love them so much.
All right, so that is it for today's Q&A. Thank you guys so much for submitting these questions. We had a ton of fun answering them. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys next Sunday.